What a week that just continues to get better. And best part, Idaho Sports Talk listeners, it's only Wednesday. Going to be a fun one. We'll open up the Double Tap Pub hotline, 208-424-9300. And if you have a question regarding the Boise State wide receiver room or receiver competitions at Boise State, and you're tired of asking Prater in the ball game your questions, well, you can ask our in-studio guest, former Boise State receiver Billy Bowens is spending some time with us. Billy Bow in studio, and you're talking receiver. And if people want to call in and ask you, we got tons of questions too. Billy Bowens, you son of a gun, man. Looking good. Welcome to Idaho Sports Talk. Thanks for doing this.
Thank you guys so much for having me. I'm glad to be a part of this today.
Billy, you're in the hot seat now. Yeah. How you feeling? Last time I saw you, it was like the worst day of your life, man. Yeah. I'm sorry, man. When you were getting carted off on pro day, and that was. Where are we now with the rehab and where you are, Billy?
Yeah, so I'm about 4 months out post surgery. And
it was a knee, right?
Yes, sir. I tore my patellar tendon in my right. Definitely came out of nowhere. Unexpected. Was feeling great, in best shape ever. Working out, feeling pretty good, and then next thing you know, boom. So I mean, if there's one thing this program though, and the people here have taught me, is to always be ready and prepared for the unexpected, right? And how to respond to things, right? Your response is everything. So I mean, being here, the community showed so much love. My family, everyone, my boys, like all the teammates were coming through. Every teammate DM'd me, called me, FaceTimed me. I mean, it was my phone. I almost had to put on D&D for one point because there was just so much love, and I respect it and love those boys to death. So I mean, yeah.
Billy Bowens with us. I know football is still in your heart, but is it still in your head? I mean, this is the ultimate plan, Billy, to put on a helmet again someday and try to play somewhere.
Yes. I mean, I'm definitely leaving it open. I'm never going to close that until that door is shut on its own. I talk to my dad all the time, and he's the biggest advocate for it. Like, he's like, that window is going to close eventually. I wouldn't close it just yet. I'm leaving my options open. I've been talking to different leagues, different people, different scouters, just people who want to keep me in and want me to still possibly give it a shot. My biggest thing is just getting healthy right now. I'm only 4 months out, still got another 4 months before I'm really physically running and cutting again. I can do light jogs and cuts. I'm always catching, keeping the hands fresh, but it's just, I don't want to close that door. So yeah, I'm definitely open to it.
At pro day, and we're talking to former Boise State wide receiver Billy Bowens, saw him last spring pro day inside the Kevin Williams. You were having a hell of a day. I mean, you were just on fire, and the scouts were there, and it was the perfect setting. Is that confidence taking away from that day until that one fateful play? Is that kind of what keeps the dream alive, knowing that on that stage, on that level, you can compete and get capture the attention of NFL scouts?
Yeah, it's like bittersweet, because part of me was like, geez, I hate it for it to happen like that, but it's like, at least it happened on the last route. Caught every pass, hit majority of my marks. Obviously, I'm a competitor and always set really high marks, but hit majority of them. So I was like really having a good day. Had interviews lined up with different NFL teams afterwards. Like, agent was there. She was fired up. She was like, "You're doing great. Like, let's go." So it was surreal, but then it was like that happened. It just changed everything in an instant.
Are you wearing a rodeo hat?
I am. Yeah, this is the Eagle rodeo hat. Yeah.
Ball game. It's rodeo day.
We interviewed. We love rodeos.
We interviewed Tyler Crow earlier today. He was wearing a rodeo shirt. You've got a rodeo hat on. Between ball game and I, we've been to a couple hundred rodeos. He's from Pendleton. I'm from Twin Falls.
I'm not from Pendleton, but okay.
Well, you like to go there and drink on rodeo weeks, that's for sure.
Right.
All right, sorry, got sidetracked there. No, now you're hanging out, rehabbing, and understand you may be doing a little stuff with Boise State this fall.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, you can expect to see me around. I'm going to be working with their athletic department, so maybe some volleyball, maybe some soccer, maybe some football games. Might even be around there, just helping out, doing anything I can, and help the community.
Billy Bowens with us, 208-424-9300. Here we're going to start firing away with wide receiver questions, wide receiver competition questions. Billy Bowens knows this staff, knows this personnel better than just about anybody. If you have a question for him, you can text us 208-424-9300. And my first question will just be for you, Billy. What do you think? Describe where this, what's exciting, do you think, about this particular 2024 wide receiver room and the competition that comes with it? What should excite Bronco Nation?
I mean, the biggest thing is I told each and every one of them before I left the locker room last year is The only thing harder than winning the Mountain West championship once is doing it again, back to back. And I told them never get complacent. I wanted them to feel that feeling, and I told them always remember it and keep that in and never let it go. But understand you're chasing something, and now you guys have the target on your back. Everyone's trying to knock you guys off the throne. So anytime you want to get thinking this way or thinking that way, or maybe you need some motivation, that's your motivation right there.
We want to go down the entire list. We want your feedback on a very deep wide receiver room. We won't go all 16 deep, but the impact guys. But let's start at the top with your coach, Matt Miller. Still running around, still doing his thing. He was pretty fired up and feisty today. He came over at one point on the sidelines and said to the media, "It's physical day. It's physical day. It's pads day." And he was fired up and excited, which, it takes a lot to get Matt Miller fired up, but he's one hell of a wide receiver coach. Your perspective of Matt Miller, the wide receivers coach, and how he's going to handle this wide receiver room.
It starts with him. And he's an incredible person, incredible coach. Loved being around him. Our relationship has only grown more and more since I've met him a couple years back till this day. Like, he's a great person. Even once again, another guy that was checking up on me after the injury, talking to me, keeping me in good spirits. He's someone that you want the boys around because you know how much he cares. A former Bronco, he played the position, let alone here, and at a high level, so just so much respect to him. And, we're always competing. We always give each other the hardest times, just going back and forth. But love him to death. So I know they're in good hands, and he's not going to drop the standard at all on those guys.
Four-time academic All-America, four-time academic All-Mountain West receiver Billy Bowens with us. Latrell Caples, you go way back with Trell. He has 2 years left, Billy. How did that happen, right? Well, he gets last year back and whatnot. I thought he had a terrific practice today. He feels like he's the hungriest player on this team. No one's more hungry to compete. What have your conversations been like? And can Latrell Caples duplicate what he did with you guys 2 years ago, or even better? What are your expectations for Trell this year?
Extremely high. And I have those expectations for him because I know he has those expectations for himself. Missing last season, I know hurt him, but it also made him grow that hunger that added to the hunger he already had. He was always one of those players that's always locked in, always competing, literally top-notch competitor who even brought more out of me at times. And I love that. So, I know he's going to be eager and he's just itching to get out there and play and contribute. And he's being a leader. He's become a more vocal leader. He was always a leader that was just showing things, but now he's talking to the team and he's doing things and embracing that role because we needed those guys too, losing, 2 6-year seniors in the room. We told them, you guys got to step up. This is your room. This is your team. And they were embracing that role a lot.
They got a lot of options in the wide receiver room. Talking with Billy Bowens, former Boise State wide receiver, and obviously Caples on the inside, probably in that slot position, and put it on paper. And you got Strawn and Bolt on the outside with a whole bunch of other guys that we're going to get to as well. Let's start with Prince Strawn. He looks the part. That's a big dude. Probably one of the biggest wide receivers I've ever seen at Boise State. And his talent, it's getting better every single day. What's his ceiling? What do you love about Prince Strawn?
I love him to death. I could just go on days and days and days about all these guys because it's genuine, the connection. It's just so much love and respect mutually between me and those guys to where just talking to them, being on the field with them, those last couple games, I saw their growth, their development. They were maturing. They were asking me questions to the point where they're telling me where to line up. Or, Bill, we're over here. Bill, we got this. And I'm like, good, good, because that's what you want to see as leaving it, knowing that the team is going to be in good hands. Those are the guys who are always competing and always looking to grow themselves.
Austin Bolt, first time he's been healthy beginning of camp in 2 years. It's just poor Austin Bolt, right? He was always dealing with something. Whether he was playing the wrong position as a 165-pound tight end or hurt as a receiver. He's had a good camp too, Billy. Absolutely. You've been in the same room with Austin for a couple of years. Does he go? Is this the breakout year, the Bora Flash?
Absolutely. He once again, another guy I love. Every time I see these guys, we're giving each other the biggest hugs, even though we just saw each other 3 days ago. That's how it is always. It's just so much love. And for him, as a guy that's seen him go through those hardships, those injuries and stuff, and seeing how hard he's worked to get back on the field and to come contribute, and how he did come back and contribute last year and how he grew. It's just so much, like you said, the potential, the ceiling is so high for this room and these guys. And I know they're going to be competing with each other. They're in great hands with the staff. And everyone else in that offense is a really mature offense in terms of gaining experience and being able to work together and talk and work ethic and everything involved, they're going to do really well, and I'm excited for them.
We want to keep going down this list of the wide receivers, but here's maybe a more of a broad question. You say that Bolt might be poised for a breakout season, and we all want that, and we all think that could happen. But with so many good wide receivers and a run-first offense, just talk about the distribution and how that's going to work. Maybe get back into Matt Miller's mind, and how do you keep 5, 6, 7 wide receivers happy?
Oh yeah, it's rough. But our biggest thing once again was no block, no rock. If you don't block and make yourself relevant, it's not going to open you up in the play action pass game. I mean, we've embraced and accepted our roles. You know that we were a run heavy team. Our run was elite. We had great schemes and great running backs and tight ends and O-line, and shout out to all of them. So it's like we wanted to be relevant and make that even better by going to block linebackers, safeties, nickels, dominating corners. And then it just makes it that much easier, as you saw in the last couple of games. When you do hit a play action, they're flustered. They don't even know where to look. Their eyes are all over the place. It just makes it so much easier for yourself.
Who's the best edge blocker on this team in the wide receiver?
Best edge block. They're so good, all of them. They were.
Billy,
I'm not even. It's.
There's got to be one guy that just stands out because he goes out there and he's just a physical beast and wants to beat people up.
I know, and it's. I might have to give it to Prince. I might have to, and they're gonna give me so much hate for this, but I love you guys all, and you're all amazing. But it might have to be Prince because he'd always come back so fired up. Billy, I got him. I can't wait to see it on film. But Austin as well, like the effort's there from everyone. Everyone's trying to get a knockdown, trying to knock someone, trying to get in their heads, trying to kill them, beat them, awesome, everything involved. But it's really close. It's like 1A, 1B. I have to give it to Prince.
Billy Bowens with us here, Prater in the Ballgame, KTIK, the ticket. Billy, a receiver battle. You won one of these last year. You went into day one of fall camp. You were penciled in as one of the starters, and you were able to hold the gig. You started week 1 against Washington. You would give anybody advice or tell our listeners just what goes in to competing and ultimately winning a receiving battle when they announce the final depth chart and you get that call or you see it, whatever, and you're in the top 3. Just, wow, that must be like a life-changing moment. What's it like being in one of these day in, day out, packed receiver room battles?
Well, I'll tell you first and foremost, if you're starting anything at a program as prestigious as Boise State, you're doing everything right. You're working hard. You're leading. You're doing great things off the field. I mean, there's so much that goes into it rather than just being a good football player, right? Like, you have to be a great person. You have to be on top of your academics. You have to be someone that knows the system, knows the scheme, knows the playbook. Like, you have to know your stuff in order to start here at Boise State. They're not just going to put anyone on the field and hurt you or this team. So the first and foremost, you see anyone starting on any of the positions, just know that they got that stuff dialed from head to toe.
You know your stuff, and it sounds like that you got your stuff together and you got a future in front of you. Just as a sidetrack question here, what do you want to do? I mean, 4-time academic all conference.
Yep.
What do you want to do when the football itch goes away, when your knee gets better, when you're done screwing around with Boise State? I mean, do you have a career thoughts, or maybe you want to go into athletic administration and work at Boise State and be Jeremiah Dickey one day?
Seriously.
I don't really know, and I get that question a lot, but I do know this, that my calling is always to be someone to help others and inspire others, and I know that. So whatever that entails, there's 1,000 ways to do things like that, to help others, to be a role model, to give people hope and inspiration. So that's one of the things I just want to be, to give people guidance, to help people out, young people, whether they're athletes or not, just people that need that. I want to be that voice, that outlet for people. So there's multiple ways to do so. I don't really know which realm I'm going to be in yet, but I know that's what I'm going to be doing.
Where does that come from? Mom, dad, family background, teachers, mentors, coaches?
Yeah, absolutely. My siblings more than anything. I've always been the oldest boy of 2, and I'm a twin sister. So we're always
a twin sister.
Yeah, we're Irish
cool.
twins. We're Irish twins. So we're not literally, but we're 9 months apart.
I use that term on this show all the time, and he had to look it up because he didn't know what it meant.
Yeah,
Irish twins.
I mean, I tell people all the time, and I joke around with them. I'm like, well, that means she was born in like Ireland, and I was born in like Scotland, and then they fall for it, and they're like, oh, that's so neat. I'm like, I just run with it. I run with it. But yeah, so I mean, we're 9 months apart, so we're super close. I mean, I call her my twin. I love her to death. We grew up working together, competing together, running track. She was always faster than me, so I always had to hear it from all my guy friends and teammates. all the way up until my junior year, going into junior year of high school. So I mean, she was elite. But anyway, like,
Wow.
we're just so connected and best friends. We talk all the time, FaceTime all the time.
You and your twin sister.
Yeah, I love her to death.
We never knew this story. You know, my partner lost a bet on you once, man.
Really?
I did. You owe me a milkshake. BJ Reigns, you know, we
him and
took
BJ.
Who was going to have a better season? I went with Billy, and
he went with Caples.
And you were close
2 years ago.
You were
2 years ago.
I think you maybe even had more catches, but Caples had more touchdowns.
Might have been vice versa. I don't know. It was close.
But I lost a milkshake, Billy. I lost a milkshake.
We'll get you that one back. We'll get you that one
I
back.
had faith in you all the way to the end.
We got a few more minutes here with Billy Bowens, Bronco Nation. If you want to hop on, wish him well, ask him anything about the receiver room, call 208-424-9300. Shoot us a text to the Cloverdale Plumbing text line. We got a bunch of stuff coming in there as well with Billy Bowens. I just kind of wanted to elaborate a couple of things. One, playing with Maddox Madsen. I mean, Prater and I talked about it. We had Chris Peterson on this show. Clearly seems like Chris Peterson is in team Maddox Madsen over Malachi Nason based on what he's seen. I mean, you played with Madsen. You saw him when he comes in. I mean, you're probably rooting for him. I mean, you love the guy. You just met Malachi. I don't know. I mean, are you hoping, let's be honest, now that you're not on this thing, are you wanting number 4 to win this gig, Billy?
I mean, whoever starts, I'll say this. They're the guy that's supposed to be starting. That's what I'm going to say first and foremost. I have thrown with both of them, obviously. I do during some training for pro day and prep, I have went out there and thrown with Malachi. I love the way he spins it. I mean, love his character. He's a good guy. We click really well. I mean, he's another SoCal guy, so always rooting for, home city and stuff too. But I mean, also just Madsen, that's my dog. I love him to death. Another super talented guy, super intelligent guy. We just always have fun together. We just worked the camp out in Twin Falls, and we couldn't stop laughing and just putting smiles on each other's faces, so I love them to death. But once again, like, whoever takes the field, I know the team's going to be behind them 100%. I know the staff is going to be behind them 100%, and then it's time to roll. So we'll see.
If Billy Bowens showed up in Twin Falls when I was a high school kid in Twin Falls or a junior high kid, it'd been like the greatest summer of my life. Because rock stars never showed up in Twin Falls back in the day. So I love the fact that you guys go do that. First impressions of Cam Camper and Chris Marshall.
Oh, super talented. I mean, I've watched their film, their tapes. I've spoken to both of them, given them some advice. I would tell them, look, I know you guys probably don't know me from a can of paint, but I'm super glad you're here. And if you need anything, you contact me. If you have any questions, comments, concern, you hit me up. And I told them both this, like, you're part of the family now, you're part of the brotherhood. And they were both like, you could tell they're like, okay, like, I appreciate that. They're a little different, but they're like, and I was like, look, man, I'm coming from a good place. I know you don't know me, but I'm proud you're here and you're in good hands. And I'm really glad that you're around these type of people and then this team. And I hope you have a stellar season. Like, I'll be watching. Wish you best of luck.
Billy Bowens in studio. Michael, the graveyard guy. He says, does Billy Bowens think Matt Miller will one day be an OC?
Yeah, I think that's his end goal. I think he really wants to, and I think he's really close to it. He has the knowledge, he has the brains. When I'm always picking his brain and asking him things, and he breaks it down so simple to where we're like clicking. So I mean, I see it for sure.
You used to live with Matt Lauder. He's your boy.
Yeah.
He's your top dog.
Yeah.
Any chance Matt Lauder leads this team in receptions? Probably not, but he's going to make an impact, right?
I wouldn't say it couldn't happen though.
Wow.
I wouldn't say it couldn't happen because I mean, either that, I mean, you never know how season's going to go.
And with so many mouths to feed in the wide receiver room, there's going to be a lot of separation from those guys.
Of course. And Lord forbid, injuries happen, things happen, life happens. You never know, so that's why I wouldn't say I put it past anyone, but I mean,
you love Lauder. You love this
what's
guy.
going on with Lauder's offseason if you were living with him?
Absolutely. I mean, just by the things I would see, he's super locked in. That's the first thing I can say. If I had to give it 2 words, it's laser focused. He was coming home cooking meals for himself, cooking meals for me. He's like, here, Bill, I made you this. And
nice.
I'm like, sweet, I'll take it. I mean, he's just locked in, going to bed at reasonable times. He's telling me all the things. And we've had those super serious talks, just one-on-one, like him talking to me through my career and picking my brain and me giving him the real and what to expect, the ups and downs, and how to stick with it when it's not looking great and how to control it when it's all love and praise on your name. So, I mean, I'm excited for him. I'm really excited.
This is going to be a good team this year, don't you think, Billy?
I know it. I just feel it.
Feel
You have
it.
that intuition, that gut feeling that they're going to do really well.
I love seeing the transition of players, going from players to almost like citizens, if you will. It's like a weird thing, like I'm a civilian now.
Right.
Billy, you're transitioning really, really well. We hope to
you.
keep a relationship, keep bringing you back here
Absolutely.
on Idaho Sports Talk, getting your thoughts on this football team. Well done.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys, and it's a pleasure to be here.
Billy Bowens, ladies and gentlemen, and that's why you listen to Idaho Sports Talk. Got some great text messages we'll get to during feedback finale, and JP is begging me to ask you guys for 7 more subscriptions to the KTIK YouTube channel. Please go subscribe there and make JP happy. We'll be back. Prater on the Ballgame.
From the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Studios.